Good morning, I'm Angelo Castro III.
I'm Angela and we are the Castros.
Oy, it's a Thursday at
Yes.
nagtataka kayo bakit ang daming food. Kasi po tomorrow may special tayo. Yung debate ni
Trump and
President Joe Biden and
versus,
Donald Trump. So today, ang Friday episode natin on a Thursday.
Hindi po kayo nagkakamali. Tama kayo ng gising. Thursday pa lang today.
Ay, tsaka 3-in-1 ang episode natin today. Kasi may special guest tayo. Of course, former senator.
Huwag mo sasabihin kung
former senator. Hulaan nyo na lang kung sino.
Hulaan niya kung sino.
Okay.
Former senator siya.
At ngayon lang natin halos maririnig ang mga comments niya on certain issues that are hounding society and the government today. And of course, birthday.
Birthday ko ba today?
Birthday niya tomorrow.
Bukas
but
pa.
we want to celebrate it with mga ka-brunch natin. So today, may mga simple handa tayo with Buddha's Belly.
Buddha's Bellies, of course. Si Marjorie Tan, thank you so much. And
Alright.
later on, pag-usapan pa natin yung iba't ibang mga issues tulad ng nabanggit mo, Diego. Kasi marami. Meron ka pa rin Pogo. You still have political issues. You still have issues sa Embo barangay sa, di ba? Yung issue nila baka hindi sila makaboto dahil sa distrito. Iisa-isahin natin dyan. Ang tanong, ano yung magiging number 1 na issue natin?
Ako. And all that because we're serving you news in a countdown.
All that before your second cup of coffee. This is Brunch.
Of course, let's kick off our countdown with the training of our Olympians. They continue to prepare in Metz, France, ahead of the much-awaited Games. Olympic rower Joni Delgaco goes all in on her training. While she is a month away from competing, she admitted that there is no expectation for a podium finish. Weightlifters John Senisa, Vanessa Sarno, and Elreen Ando are also gearing up for the Games. They are now focused on maintaining power, recovery, and nutrition. Heavy training is also on for boxers Nesty Petesio, Carlo Paalam, Hergy Bacyadan, and Ira Villegas. Ako, looking forward to the Games. So, their athletes are heavily preparing for this. At least maganda yung ginagawa natin dito sa Signal Family na pinapakita natin not only the day of competition but how our athletes
are preparing.
Painstakingly prepare for an event.
Totoo yan. Exciting. And of course, syempre, lagi araw-araw natin sinasabi yung suporta natin na talagang 101%
Go
para sa
Pilipinas.
ating Filipino athletes.
Go for gold.
Yes. Alright, let's continue with our countdown. Now, ranking 9th in our countdown is a possible oil spill again in Oriental Mindoro. A fresh oil slick was spotted again near the town of Pola. Now, this happened over a year after the tanker MT Princess Empress sank near the town and caused an oil spill. The oil slick was seen 620 meters from the shore of Barangay Buhay, Natubig. Pola Mayor Jennifer Cruz said she is still seeking answers from the Philippine Coast Guard or PCG about the possible source of the oil slick. PCG insisted that the oil could not come from the sunken MT Princess Empress because its tank is already empty. Yan. Kasi akala nga nila baka daw doon pa dahil yung sunken MT Princess nga. Pero nakuha na yun. Do you remember that?
Empty of course. Pero yung area kasi na yan, daanan talaga ng mga delivery vessels, mga oil tankers. So, pero kung may oil slick, I want to know kaya, gaano kalaki tong oil slick?
Actually, yun nga yung sinasabi nila. Baka daw yung may dumaan, biglang nagka-leak. Kaya
maliit.
Kaya gano'n. So, they're still investigating.
Kawawa naman sila because they're still recovering from the last oil slick. And yung mga marine creatures natin, talagang it takes years and decades bago sila mag-propagate ulit. Yung mga namatay, ha?
Totoo. Plus, of course, kasi kung merong may kasalanan dyan, of course, di ba, na dumaan dyan na barko at nagkalat, and they need to be held accountable.
The mere fact that they don't know yung source yet, that means siguro may dumaan, nagkalat, tapos wala na.
Ang problem dyan, paano mo malalaman?
Hindi, may mga ano yan, di ba? May mga
logs ba yan?
May mga navigation, di ba? Parang natitrack ni Ray Powell yung movement ng boat. So baka they can check yung day na nagkaroon ng spill na yan, sino yung mga dumaan doon.
Marami na daw yung nakuha nilang parang...
Info? Oil?
Oil.
Okay.
Oo, hinahanap ko kung saan ko nabasa kanina, nakalimutan ko na yun, nawala na.
Kasi they're just recovering from the recent oil spill, tapos meron na naman ganito. Di ba? Aside from kasi yung effect on marine life also, yung air. Di ba? Nagko-contaminate yung
Tsaka yun nga, nakakalanghap na yung mga residente doon.
Oo, dami na daw nagsialisa near that area. Tsaka yung livelihood na nawala.
So, 3 sako na yung nakukolekta nila ng oil-contaminated, galing sa mga oil-contaminated debris.
Oil, 3 sack.
3 sako.
Okay. Sige.
Alright, let's continue with our countdown.
Coming in at top 8, a low-pressure area has been spotted near Mindanao. It was last spotted some 45 kilometers east-northeast of Dipolog City, Zamboanga del Norte. Pag-asa says the possibility of the LPA developing into a tropical cyclone remains low. For now, the LPA and the Intertropical Convergence Zone, or ITCZ, may bring scattered rains. Affected areas include Dinagat Islands, Visayas, Mimaropa, Bicol, Quezon, Laguna, and Rizal. Isolated rains, meanwhile, are expected over Metro Manila and the rest of Calabarzon and Mindanao. Other parts of the country may also experience rains due to the easterlies or warm winds from the Pacific Ocean.
All right, coming up. Is Alice Go a stolen identity? Senator Risa Ontiveros raised her eyebrow again over the background of the suspended Bamban Tarlac mayor.
And the Philippines has sent a note verbal to China regarding the recent encounter in the Ayungin Shoal. Now, what are their other plans in dealing with China's aggressive actions against our troops?
We are just getting started, mga kapatid. More of our top 10 news when Brunch returns. Keep it here on One News. Good morning! You're still watching Brunch here on One News.
Good morning.
Tulad ng ating nabanggit kanina, it's Thursday today. Di po kayo namamalik mata.
Oh.
Kasi meron po tayong Buddha's Belly today. Of course,
Yes,
courtesy.
dapat Friday kasi may special tayo tomorrow. So, pati yung birthday surprise ni Angel.
Yay!
Ang ginawa.
So we have here, we have dim sums, different kinds of dim sums.
Yeah, dim sum platter. Meron kikiam.
Pansit
Kikiam
for
ba yan?
long life.
Yes. Buttered
We have
chicken. Spare ribs ba to?
Ano pa? Oo.
Ampalaya. Chicken
Yun.
ampalaya. And hakaw. Of course, favorite kasi ni Angel ang hakaw.
Yun.
Oy, pero ito, may mga ano lang tayo. May mga bumabate. Happy birthday, Angel, from Thea.
Ooh, wow!
Thea Fernandez, Bito.
Thank
From
you.
Jaime Barcelona naman, good morning, guys. Alex Fuentes, magagandang sticker ang mga pinadala niya. Of course, Gary Fields, ang Pokemon Go. At lahat ng viewers natin, thank you for your comments. Madami po tayong pag-uusapan at may guest tayo.
Si JR Domingo, yung lumapit sa atin nung nasa mall tayo last week, nanonood din siya sa atin lagi daw.
Wala na ako.
Okay. Hindi mo na maalala siya. Okay, sige. Hulaan niyo kung sino yung magiging guest namin today. Live here sa studio.
We'll want to see his insights.
Yes.
Sa nangyayaring mga bagay-bagay dito sa bansa natin.
Totoo yan. But before that, syempre, let's continue with our countdown. Brewing at the 7th spot is the much-anticipated presidential debate of U.S. President Joe Biden and former President Donald Trump. Tomorrow's showdown is set to be a debate like no other, kahit na nagdebate na sila noon. Now, here's the report.
How you doing, man?
The pressure on each man to perform Thursday is evident, but it's the profound changes in America's political climate from 2020 which could be a deciding factor in the Trump-Biden debate.
2020, Biden successfully and effectively made the election a referendum on Trump's leadership. This time, he's trying to make it a referendum on Trump again. Do you really want this guy back in office? And Trump is trying to make it a referendum on Biden's record.
Two seismic events since the 2020 debates. The January 6th insurrection, which Donald Trump is accused of inciting and which he denies. And Trump is now a convicted felon, found guilty of falsifying business records in his hush money trial, something President Biden might be under pressure to highlight more at the debate.
Thus far, the issue of his felony conviction doesn't seem to have moved voters in one direction or the other.
In 2020, analysts say American voters were looking for a leader who could manage them out of crises, including one the likes of which they'd never seen before.
We were in the middle of COVID, and that was the centerpiece of the conversation in 2020.
Also in 2020, the Black Lives Matter protests were raging across the country following the murder of George Floyd by a Minneapolis police officer. Unemployment in America surged at the beginning of the pandemic in 2020, a dynamic that has completely turned around as we head into this debate. But analysts say President Biden could be hounded by another economic factor that's different from 2020.
The issue that is really plaguing him and is frustrating voters overall is the cost of stuff. Inflation has been a factor.
Another enormous political and social sea change from 2020 stems from an event that occurred in late June of 2022.
Roe v. Wade was overturned by the Supreme Court by judges that former President Trump largely picked. It was a key promise of his, and that's proven to be an unpopular decision, according to polling on both sides, and has hurt Republicans in a lot of different elections.
And an evolutionary change from 2020, the steady drumbeat of voters' concerns over the candidates' ages. Joe Biden, at 81, is the oldest president in American history. If Trump wins, he'll be the oldest president ever at a swearing-in at age 78. Both men facing escalating criticisms for memory lapses, mistaken identity references, and other worrisome signs.
Both sides are trying to exploit that, and both sides also know, particularly on the Biden side, I feel like they understand that it's a key vulnerability that they're having to deal with.
Now, how is the U.S. elections going to affect the Philippine economy and national security? Watch Biden or Trump, the Philippine Interest tomorrow, hosted by Edling Gao and Regina Lay. The two will have a pre-debate analysis on 8 a.m. before the much-anticipated CNN presidential debate between U.S. President Joe Biden and Donald Trump. A post-debate analysis will also take place at 10:30 a.m. Catch Biden or Trump, the Philippine Interest tomorrow at 8 a.m. here on One News.
And it's interesting to see, no? Kasi, of course, convicted felon si former President Trump. Now, how Joe Biden prepares his attack towards Donald Trump. Kasi, as we all know naman si Donald Trump, former President Trump, even based sa mga kwento ng mga handlers niya before sa past elections, or even when he was president, he really doesn't prepare much for speeches. He goes kasi kung ano yung bugso ng damdamin niya. He goes on impulse.
Gut feel.
That's why he's been likened very similarly to former President Rodrigo Duterte. He's off the cuff ang style niya ang debate. But let's see how he defends himself from these allegations. Because as nakita mo yung interview dito sa CNN, hindi nag-move yung needle because of the conviction. People expected to the needle moving a little more towards the Democratic side because of his guilty verdict. Pero apparently, hindi daw nag-move yung needle. Trump maintained this base, which is a wide base in Middle America, na, of course, parang nagiging issue ng Pilipinas, mga affected very much by inflation. Gas prices, food prices.
And of course, yung mga big issues that surrounding the US, di ba? Of course, yung ano mga dapat nilang gawin sa national security.
And of course, yung issue of abortion, yung Roe versus Wade, because historically, the Democrats have been pro-abortion on this side with several circumstances. Si Trump naman, Republicans are a little bit more on this, conservative on this issue.
Hindi a little bit, talagang conservative.
No, it depends. Kasi you have to remember, ang Republican, meron yung aggressive Republican, meron liberal Republican, meron yung traditional Republican. Madaming factions sa loob ng party yan. Oo.
Okay, so ito daw yung debate na inaabangan talaga dahil nga the last time that nag-face off itong si Biden at saka si Trump ay yung 2020 pa talaga. So makikita natin kung hasa pa ba ulit yung kanilang mga debate skills.
But alam mo
And this is going to be a high rating pa rin daw na debate na inaasahan nila. But of course, medyo mahaba itong debate. Ang concern nila dyan, will Biden be affected by this dahil sa kanyang age?
Madaming memory lapses on both parts. But you see, kasi kay President Trump, yung lapses is because masyado mabilis ang takbo ng utak niya. And when he talks, he jumbles up names. But it's more on because madami siyang thought process na nangyari. Kay Joe Biden naman, his age is really accelerated.
Yes.
And in recent speeches, he's been seen mumbling, he's been seeing, nagahang siya minsan.
Out of it.
So that's why ang worry nila is Trump is very aggressive. So how will Biden counter this?
Exactly.
Diba?
So the candidates' microphones daw will be turned off.
Yes.
Diba? Or muted rather pag hindi sila yung nagsasalita. And there will be no studio audience. Ang sinasabi ng mga analysts is actually favors Biden. On the other hand, kasi mawawalan siya ng, magkakaroon siya ng mas focus doon sa debate. Diba? Instead dun sa surroundings, etc. So, we'll see what's going to happen. So, abangan po nyo yan dito sa atin sa One News. Kaya po wala kami tomorrow kasi we will give way para nga po dun sa magiging coverage, special coverage ng One News dito. Hosted by Ed Lingao and Regina.
And we encourage everyone to watch kasi very important ang outcome ng US elections, mas lalo na sa Mutual Defense Treaty and partners. So,
may pakialam tayo.
Kasi Republicans and Democrats have different approaches to how they handle their foreign relations and how they deal with us.
It's different.
It's different.
Let's see. Nako, mainit na debate yan. But for the meantime, let's continue with our countdown.
Moving over to our top 6, the ICT Undersecretary Jeffrey N.D. calls on tech expert Art Samaniego to face the accusations against him. D said Samaniego will be given enough time to prepare for his defense. A subpoena has already been issued against Samaniego amid allegations that he instructed the hacking of some government and private websites. They added that they will discuss their partnership with Scam Watch, which is co-headed by Samaniego.
Honestly, hindi ko nga napansin na may ganun siyang side. Ano? But for Art, my advice is let's face, he trusts the process, face the case. He will be given ample time to prepare for his defense. So he should be given that privilege.
Si Art Samaniego is currently suspended sa Manila Bulletin due to this ongoing investigation nga dito sa cyber
Kasi if he
hacking.
wanted to test yung vulnerability, he should have at least informed, not all, but at least one of the secretaries
Mabigat tong allegations.
involved or the people involved, di ba? Because ano hinak niya recently, AFP?
Oo, kaya nga sabi nung hacker si alias Kangkong. Alias Kangkong pangalan niya. He actually admitted.
Alias Kangkong.
Alam mo, he admitted that he hacked 93 websites.
Nautos daw.
Government and non-government agencies.
Utos daw ni Art Samaniego.
Most of it. Tapos, he actually left a photo, parang signature niya. Wala lang, para makita na dun siya galing. Siya yung gumawa ng hacking na yun.
Ang sabi naman ni Art
And
Samaniego,
he's actually, parang nag-public apology siya sa mga ginawa niya. Especially nung na-hack yung, anong tawag dito, personal information ng mga soldiers natin to foreign entities. And that he
that's
realized,
very, very dangerous.
so he realized daw na dapat daw as a nation one tayo. And yun nga, we reiterate here, di ba lagi natin pinag-uusapan ito, yung importance. Ano ba yung learning dito sa nangyari na to? Which is yung importance ng cybersecurity natin dito sa bansa.
That's what I wanted to say also na, of course, sige, let's prosecute this, let's focus on mali ang ginawa, pero dapat yung government agencies, tulad ng sinabi mo, have learned from this to look, hey, teka lang, may vulnerability nga ang natin, ang ating websites.
Yes.
And we have to face the fact na we have to invest in cybersecurity.
Exactly.
It's because yan ang new emerging warfare.
Oo. Tapos meron ka pang online voting ngayon.
Oo.
That's
Hindi,
very
kung noon kasi ang warfare natin, armas, di ba? Ngayon, missiles. Ngayon, everything is controlled by cybersecurity. He who controls the, di ba? Cybersecurity has the power.
Totoo yan. So yun nga, nabanggit ko kanina, di ba? Meron ka pang online voting na ano din yan.
Sa Comelec, oo.
Ibig ko sabihin, pwede rin ma-hack yan, di ba?
And, national ID system natin, yung PhilSys ID is interconnected.
Exactly.
So, magkamali lang tayo ng isang hacker, identity theft can be massive, can cause a big, malaking damage sa, sa mga security and privacy of each individual or citizens.
Exactly. But speaking of voting, dumako na tayo sa ating next countdown for today. Coming at the 5th spot are the so-called Embo barangays. Residents in 10 Embo barangays can vote in the upcoming midterm elections. However, they are not allowed to vote for their preferred congressional representative. Now, Comelec Chairman George Garcia said the Embo barangays do not belong in any districts in Taguig. He explained that a new law must be created to indicate the barangay's district. The residents can also create a new district since their area has over 250,000 residents. Recall, the 10 Embo barangays were transferred from Makati to Taguig based on a Supreme Court decision.
Hanggang sa kasalukuyan, hindi po alam ng Comelec kung saang distrito kayo sa dalawang distrito ng Taguig kabilang. Hindi po namin kayo pwedeng isama sa first district. Hindi namin kayo pwedeng isama sa second district. Bakit po? Wala pong kapangyarihan ng Comelec na gawin yon.
So, Makati Mayor Abby Binay slammed this decision from Comelec. She asked how come the Embo barangay residents can still vote for city councilors yet they are not allowed to choose their representative in the Congress. Oh, nagkakagulo talaga. The Embo or the Taguig versus Makati saga continues. But yun nga, ang importante dito kasi there's more than 250,000 residents na baka ma-disenfranchise, meaning hindi makakaboto.
Kasi the lower house, the Congress as a whole can assign them a new district na all 250,000 or i-distribute yung half of the 5 barangays and the other half to certain districts within Taguig.
Oo. Kasi ang problem dyan kasi magpiprinta ng balota. Magpiprint rather, ng balota ang Comelec soon. Hindi naman soon, but kailan ba ang
I think they're already printing.
Less than how many months before kasi certificate of filing of certificate ng candidacy. Tapos after nun tsaka sila magpiprinto ng balota. Pero sinabi naman daw ng Comelec, they're very parang confident na mariresolve tong issue na to. They have ample time to resolve this issue. Kung gagawa ang Congress ng batas or aayusin or ikaklaruhin ng Supreme Court yung tungkol sa issue na to, yung pag-identify ng district dito sa 10 Embo barangays.
Ang Comelec naman kasi is may template sila for before printing. So that template is malleable. Pwede na iba-ibahin, pwedeng i-manipulate before magkaroon ng printing. Pero usually kasi siniset na yan. May idea na based sa pronouncement, may idea na sila.
Certificate of filing of candidacy.
Even before filing daw, mayroon silang idea more or less sino yung mga tatakbo na. But they wait until yung sinasabi mo yung certificate filing. Pero kung hindi ma-resolve to, I understand it. Parang yung mga
Filing of certificate of candidacy yan. COC.
Parang PDLs, di ba? The PDLs cannot vote for yung certain congressmen or because wala naman, nakapiit sila eh. But they can vote for national positions. Hindi ko sinasabi na mga PDL mga to. Pero it's because wala silang assigned district. Basta ang alam natin, Taguig sila. Previously from Makati. Ang mahirap niyan, if sabihin ng Comelec, sige, dito muna kayo sa District 1 sa Taguig, boboto. Biglang sabihin ng Congress, hindi pala eh. Part belongs to 2, part belongs to 3.
So, kailangan ayusin
magkakagulo-gulo.
Ayusin ng Congress para maayos. Or yun nga, ma-clarify ng Supreme Court, ano ba talaga itong Embo barangay na to, saang distrito?
Will Congress act on it? It's because
Yun.
re-election na yung mga yan.
Of course.
Oo.
They will act on it.
No, di ba
They should.
certain congressmen belong to certain districts. So
nga
pag-agawan nyo ngayon yung mga voters na yun, unless mag-create ka ng new district, then you need another position to run for that district.
Pwede. That's a good point. Ano?
Yung mga
Pero-
ayaw na tumakbo sa ibang district na natatalo, dito na lang ako tatakbo sa bago.
Pero ang importante, hindi dapat ma-disenfranchise yung mga
They should-
kababayan natin.
it's their right
It's
to
their
vote.
right to vote, right to suffrage
That's
nga. Ayun. Alright, sige, let's switch gears now.
Now heating up on our top 4, former Senator Antonio Trillanes calls on the so-called pink forces to forge an alliance with the Marcos administration. Trillanes made this statement after the Duterte family announced their plans to penetrate the Senate. The former senator said the Dutertes could block the president's legislative agenda in his last 3 years in office. He added that they could also be a threat to national security as the Dutertes are known for being pro-China.
I am encouraging the pink forces to consider forging a tactical alliance with the Marcos administration nang sa ganon masigurado natin hindi mangyari ang senaryo na yan.
Ako, I don't know what
Pasa na daw siya ng letter, di ba?
Actually,
sa Malacanang.
ayaw niya sabihin kung sino, but he passed a letter nga to Malacanang, and he also passed a letter to the other side na ayaw niya i-confirm kung sino pa.
The other side, he actually confirmed sila Bamakino.
No, he said na
Arcel
possible,
Jokno,
pero nung tinanong
Kiko
kasi,
Pangilinan.
when he was asked kung he talked to the senators, he said may mga others pa siyang kinausap.
Yeah, may others siyang kinausap, pero ito, kinausap niya to.
Sinabi na
Itong
niya.
tatlo.
Kasi ang narinig ko sa interview, hindi pa daw
Hindi
niya
pa niya nakausap.
Oo,
Okay.
hindi pa
Pero
niya.
anyway, so talagang maugong yung mga different alliances. And historically speaking naman talaga, pag malapit ng mga ganitong klaseng election, lalo na midterm elections, because midterm elections would set the tone for the 2028 elections or do sa presidential or national elections, talagang may mga alliances na nabubuo, di ba, out of kung ano yung mga interest, 'di ba, nitong mga parties na ito. But at the end of the day, syempre dapat ang iniisip din nila yung, of course, kapakanan ng bayan, 'di ba?
Pero I
But
don't
ang nakikita natin kasi yung political interest.
I don't know about
talaga.
yung kasi the pink force is has a new emerged opposition
Yes.
from the yellow.
Yes, yes.
But I don't know if the pink forces will be open to that as of this moment. It's because you have to remember ang political base ng pink forces
Yeah.
was most of them come from the Marcos former President Marcos senior administration, who some were victims of martial law.
Yeah,
So ang part of the platform nila is to correct all the wrongs supposedly from that
Yes.
era. So even if magkasundo sila sa certain issues like foreign policy, I don't think magkakasundo sila on how
Yes.
a martial law should be tackled.
Exactly. It's good that you mentioned yung issues because earlier today, yung interview ni former Senator Laila de Lima sa Ted Filon radio program, ay sinabi nga niya na tinanong kasi siya kung open ba sila o bukas ba sila makipag-alyansa sa Marcos administration against Duterte party. Ang sinabi niya sa ngayon hindi pa sila bukas, pero yun
Understandably.
nga, sila ay kumbaga nilinaw niya ang partido nila is issue-based. 'Di ba? Hindi sila totally anti-Duterte, hindi sila totally anti-BBM, but issue-based.
If that's how Senator Laila is talking, then that means that side is geared towards more of being on the Marcos administration side, because ang policies ni ni President Bongbong Marcos is very similar.
Very similar.
To the policies of the late President Noynoy Aquino.
Yes.
Oo, very similar.
Very
Foreign policy, even how the economy is being handled at the moment.
Totoo. So, yun ang mangyayari. Hindi natin alam kung ano ba. Pero yun yung ano ko,
Pero-
yung kumbaga, yun yung naalala ko yung sinabi niyang issue-based. Because may ibang mga politiko, pag tinatanong sila, ay, dito solid ako dito kasi malaki utang na loob ko dito sa
I don't
certain
like.
personality
Si Senator
na to.
Bato.
But, well, pangalanan mo na. But, yun nga, At the end of the day, well, wishful thinking, di ba? Dapat talaga ang loyalty mo is
Sa bansa.
Sa bansa, hindi sa certain personality.
Tsaka ako okay lang yung may Duterte, may PBBM, may pink forces. It's because the government is on their toes. Talagang guarded sila to do well. It's because madaming pumupuntirya sa kanila.
Exactly.
Diba? Whereas if you just have one powerful political base, dahil nag-unite na ang Pink and Marcos admin, tapos ang word ni former Senator Trillanes, obliterate na Duterte. Sana yung check and balance nun, wala. So let's keep the check and balance in
Mainit
place.
talaga yung usapin ng politika. Pero ito din, mainit na mainit ang ating top 3. Yon, mainit nga, no? Sabi ko ang ating top 3 dahil allegations emerged during the Senate hearing on Wednesday that the identity of Bamban Mayor Alice Go might belong to another person. An NBI document revealed that there are 2 individuals named Alice Leal Go with the same birthday and identical name spellings. Here's the report.
2 Alice Liel Gos but different faces. This was presented by Senator Risa Ontiveros in the continuation of the Senate hearing on the raided Bamban Pogo Hub. The one on the left is the mayor of Bamban Tarlac, while the other woman bears the same name. The information came from the NBI clearance of both Gos. The other Alice Liel Go has the same birthday as Mayor Go, which is July 12, 1986. Both of them, according to the document, were born in Tarlac. Hontiveros believes that Mayor Go stole the identity of a Filipino to eventually run for political office.
Sino po ang babaeng ito na may pangalang Alice Leal Guo pero hindi kamukha ni Mayor? Nasaan na po siya ngayon? Malinaw na sa hindi bulag o nagbubulag-bulagan, iisang tao lang, si Mayor Alice Guo at si Guo Huaping. In fact, it appears that the name Alice Guo was stolen from a Filipino. Hindi lang citizenship ang ninakaw, pati identidad ng isang kababayan natin.
According to NBI Regional Director Jerry Abiera, to obtain an NBI clearance, an applicant must personally visit their office. So how did both manage to get cleared?
Ang mas maganda, ma'am, ma-determine natin dahil yung fingerprint, magkakaiba talaga yan para ma-determine natin whether or not yung tao na yan at saka yung si Mayor ay magkaiba.
Nag-aalala din po ako para sa babae na nasa clearance ninyo. Yung either kapangalan ni Alice Leal Guo o yung totoong Alice Leal Guo. Pwede po bang i-ascertain ng NBI yung kinaroroonan nitong Alice Leal Guo?
Papahanap natin, ma'am.
Hontiveros has since requested the NBI for the biometrics of suspended Mayor Go, as well as Go Huaping, the alleged Chinese identity of the mayor, for comparison. Mayor Go was not able to defend herself as she was absent during the hearing, but in the letter she sent to the Senate, Go stated that she was not fit to be a resource person. The stress and anxiety, according to her, have affected her physical and mental health due to the damaging allegations. Although absent, the scrutiny continued on Mayor Go and her alleged connection to Pogo operation in the country. There were pieces of evidence allegedly linking Pogo in Bamban Tarlac and to a raided Pogo hub in Porac, Pampanga.
Mayor Alice certainly likes having friends in high places. Hindi po basta-basta ang mga kaibigan niya. Considering that this woman is now charged with qualified human trafficking, it is imperative that her links and networks are fully investigated.
Meanwhile, the Philippine Statistics Authority has endorsed to the Office of the Solicitor General the cancellation of Mayor Go's birth certificate. Once this happens, this will be additional evidence in quo warranto case against the mayor. She could also possibly be deported. Also present in the hearing was Senator Lito Lapid, who denied being the owner of the 10-hectare Lucky South 99 Pogo Hub in his hometown of Porac, Pampanga.
Kaya po ako naghahamon dito. Kung ako napatunayan nilang kasali ako dyan, pwede ako mag-resign bilang senador. Dahil hindi ko po papayagan na masisira ang pangalan ko rito.
The Senate is set to conduct further hearings in the coming days. For News 5, Bean Los Baños, we are One News.
Ako pala, sorry.
Don't go away because we're not done yet. May dalawa pa. Stay with us.
Welcome back. You're still watching Brunch here on One News. Meron pa tayong
Oo,
dalawa.
meron pa tayong dalawa and then we have live guests.
Oh,
on
special
studio.
guest.
Yes.
Sino kaya ang special guest natin?
Later na, so let's get right to it.
All right. Senator Bato de la Rosa says he will not be attending the House's hearing on the war on drugs. De la Rosa says he's only heeding the advice of Senate President Cheese Escudero. He explained that summoning senators every time they get caught up in certain issues goes against inter-parliamentary courtesy.
I was inclined to attend pero ayoko rin magiging president. I don't want to become the president as far as violating the inter-parliamentary courtesy tradition.
De la Rosa says he may attend the House proceedings if former President Rodrigo Duterte will also be present. De la Rosa served as chief of the PNP during the height of the Duterte drug war.
Hindi ko rin siya pwede pabayaan na pupunta doon na hindi ako makasama because we were together in launching the war on drugs.
But si former spokesperson, Harry Roque, has already said na hindi daw talaga attend.
Yeah,
Si former President Rodrigo Duterte.
Nag-decline na
He
daw.
will answer all the allegations, criminal allegations on a proper forum.
Yes.
Sinabi. Kasi yan ang ongoing na nangyayaring hearing sa Kamara ngayon diba? Headed by Congressman Abante about the issues of human rights.
Parang napuntirya din ang sinabi ni Senator Bato de la Rosa na yung utang na loob niya kasi kay former President Duterte. A lot of pundits are saying na dapat you talk about your loyalty should be to the country, not to personalities involved. Oo.
Kaya 'di ba parang yung other people were expecting actually na magkakaroon ng face-off between former Senator Laila de Lima
who already accepted,
and
will accept daw.
She will attend daw the hearing.
The hearing.
Yun nga yung kinukwento ko na baka daw mag-face-off itong dalawa pero mukhang malabo yan mangyari.
Sayang.
Abangan na lang natin.
Two feisty personalities.
Exactly.
Yan.
But okay, let's continue with our countdown. Returning to our top story is the tension in the West Philippine Sea. The Marcos administration has sent a note verbal to China as our protest against their aggressive actions in Ayungin Shoal last week. Meanwhile, the U.S. denied they are using the Philippines as a pawn against China. Here's the report.
Foreign Affairs Secretary Enrique Manalo reported that our country has sent a note verbal to China. This is in relation to China Coast Guard's aggressive actions against our troops during their resupply mission in Ayungin Shoal on June 17. The incident resulted in Seaman First Class Jeffrey Facundo getting his finger cut off. Aside from the note verbal, the Philippines and China will also discuss their rift on the bilateral consultation mechanism on South China Sea in July. Despite calls for more bold response to China, like invoking the Mutual Defense Treaty, Manalo maintained that dialogue and diplomacy should prevail.
Yes. Because we have the side of law on our side. So I am optimistic.
The law Manalo was referring to was the United Nations Convention on the Law of the Sea or UNCLOS. The Philippines ratified it in 1986 while China signed it in 1996. However, China refuses to acknowledge the Hague ruling that favored the Philippines when it comes to the territorial claims in the West Philippine Sea.
We have championed a consistent position. Maritime claims in the South China Sea cannot go beyond the UNCLOS. No country can claim almost the entirety of the South China Sea as its territory and use such claim to justify illegal and dangerous actions in waters over which we have sovereignty, sovereign rights, and jurisdiction.
Meanwhile, the U.S. has reaffirmed its commitment to the Philippines in giving support against China's aggressive responses on the West Philippine Sea.
We are urging the PRC to cease harassment of Philippine vessels lawfully operating in the Philippine exclusive economic zones, to halt its disruption to states' sovereign rights to explore, utilize, conserve, and manage natural resources in their own EEZs, and to end interference with the freedoms of navigation and overflight of all states' lawfully operation, not only in this region but around the world.
China earlier condemned the U.S. for seemingly using the Philippines as their pawn against them. U.S. Ambassador to the Philippines Mary Kay Carlson clarified that their support to the Philippines weighs heavier when it comes to the issue in the West Philippine Sea.
As we heard Secretary Manalo said, the Philippines has an agenda that stands on its own. And as our partner, we support that. They are not a pawn in a great power game. They have their own agenda that is important to the people of the Philippines. So yes, China is a factor, but the U.S.-Philippine relationship certainly stands on its own. We had a long and important relationship with the Philippines that had absolutely nothing to do with China.
For News 5, Ria Fernandez, We Are One News.
Reform PH, the newly established political party of former Senator Gringo Honasan and ex-Magdala soldiers, push to have paramilitary groups near the West Philippine Sea.
To get more information about this, we have Reform PH leader, former Senator Gringo Honasan, live here in our studio.
Yun.
Good morning,
Morning,
sir.
Angela.
Yan ang special
Happy
guest
birthday.
namin, si Senator Gringo Honasan.
Diego.
Yes, thank you, sir, very much for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
Oh, it's been a while since we last saw you on the airwaves, so it's now at least we get to see ano yung opinions mo on certain issues.
First time ulit ni former Senator na sa live TV. At dito pa sa show natin.
This is also therapeutic for me.
Okay, let's get right to it, sir. Could you tell us more about paramilitary group that you're trying to establish? Paano po ba ito makakatulong sa issue po natin sa West Philippine Sea?
One word, Angela, no? Diego, ha? Mobilize, prepare. Since there are so many variables changing every day, and when you deal with a country with a 5,000-year history, you better be careful. Diba? What I'm trying to say is, since we have no control,
yes,
and we cannot even manage these variables, no, important thing is to prepare. We are the author of the National Disaster Risk Reduction Management Law. If we can prepare for typhoons and earthquakes and natural calamities, you can shift gears and prepare to mobilize our entire population.
That's right.
To address this issue. Minsan tinatanong ako, I can speak naman in...
Opo.
Yeah.
Colonel, former senator, former secretary. Does the Philippines have an army to confront a threat like what we are facing now? No? I said the Philippines does not have an army because the Philippines is an army.
That's right.
That's the point in mobilization. But we have to start with a plan. I'm sure government has a plan. The security sector has a plan. Ang gusto lang natin, isama naman ninyo sa plano kami. Or the population, no? National security, all our array of problems, everybody is concerned.
Yeah.
Such a blessed and beautiful country. Cannot lose this country by default.
That's right, that's right. We'd also like to know, kasi of course recently, yung messaging of this current administration on how to handle the West Philippine Sea. You had Executive Secretary Bersamin say this was an accident, and you had Secretary Gubo Chodoro sa DND, mas aggressive siya on his stance. Parang mayroon disconnect po in terms of how they are behaving towards what is happening sa West Philippine Sea. What is your take on that?
That's above my salary grade. No? Yeah, no, that's their call. No?
Yeah.
The important thing is we start with a plan.
Yeah.
Communicate this plan to the entire Filipino citizenry.
That's right.
And then define for them how they can participate in this plan. Saan kami magre-report? May uniforme ba?
Yeah.
Saan kami may firearms ba? Diba? If push comes to shove.
That's right.
Saan kami kukuha ng tubig, ng pagkain? As simple as that. No? But we have to start, of course, with the law. The law that drives our national security policy is an almost 80-year-old law, Commonwealth Act No. 1.
Right.
Drafted by Major Dwight Eisenhower, who became president and passed away, and Major William Ord.
Yeah.
Is still appropriate to the situation. This is the basis, the legal basis. No? But beyond that, our call really is for a national mobilization. That will not cost us much. You have to develop a plan. Yeah,
paano po ba yung going back po dun sa suggestion nyo na paramilitary groups near the West Philippine Sea? Will this call parang mag-increase pa po ba yung tension doon sa ating, doon sa nangyayari ngayon sa West Philippine Sea?
Hindi, Angela, Diego. Meron tayong security guards. May our young people report almost every weekend, no?
Yes.
For in preparation for disaster and relief operations. It's there. The infrastructure
Is there already.
is there already. I-organize mo lang para you have an inventory.
That's right.
Now, if we're worried about what happens there, obviously, if only 1.3% of our GDP is applied to national security against the other superpowers, no? So what do? We allow them to come in. Haven't they learned their lessons from Vietnam and Afghanistan and Ukraine and the Hamas problem? We Filipinos, how many tried to colonize us? No? The Spaniards, the Americans, the Japanese. Where are they now and where are we now?
Yes.
We're still alive and kicking. Diba? Yun ang kulang na sa konting momentum siguro.
Pero syempre, taking this opportunity,
Yeah.
Senator, to ask you this question since you're here na, do you have any plans of running for the Senate or any other political position?
You know, Angela,
next election?
I'm just a good soldier. When the Filipino people tell me, you go back to the Senate, I go back to the Senate, like a good soldier. Want me to help in the private sector? I'll stay in the private sector. But the consensus I'm getting now is they want me to back there
Sa Senate.
to help.
So mga ilang porsyento po, former Senator?
Siguro mga 70-80% magpapile ako sa October.
Which slate? I mean, kaninong party?
We formed a party. Now, why did we form a party? The most important question to ask and to answer is why. Diba? If I get back to the Senate, the 1 of 24, I will have a platform. 6 o'clock news. I will have the personality. Ngayon nga, Diego, no, Angela, natalo ako last election, tawag sa akin, senador pa rin. How much more if I'm a legit senator?
Oh, yeah.
And then I will have deployable resources. Not that resources that will pass through my hands, I can point.
Yes.
Can we help build this bridge? No, put up this tower.
But Senator, saan niyo po nakikita yung party ninyo magkakaroon ng alliances? Duterte faction, the admin faction? Or...
medyo umiinit na
Medyo
yung
mainit kasi.
Nako, Angela, you're putting me in a spot. But, no, political parties effectively, and this is my opinion, it's not a commentary, I'm not trying to insult, do not exist in terms of platforms and programs. It's always somebody's talking, sino ba yung nagsasalita? Personalities. The question is, what is he saying? Di ba, pagtingin natin sa isa't isa, candidate, or this show, ano ba kayo sa buhay ko? Ano ako sa buhay niya? That has to be answered. That's why we formed this party.
Okay.
Now, if other parties, whether it's the administration or I don't know, if it's the legit political opposition, can identify with our platforms and programs, then game on.
So issue, kumbaga, Senator, issue-based.
Yes, issue-based naman.
Speaking of issues, and it's interesting you said may clamor, your name has come up a number of times because of recent hacking incidents. And of course, you are known to have to be the father of several bills that try to increase national security, cyberspace, and intelligence gathering. May leaks po tayo sa PDEA, meron po tayong government hacking increased. Ano po ang nangyayari? Are we spending too little to ramp up cybersecurity?
National priorities. How important is cybersecurity to the running of government? How important is it at family level? No? How important is it to the business community? These are questions we need to answer. Pero priorities na naman yan because these are resource-driven.
Yes.
Now, what was my mandate when the former president designated me as Secretary of the ICT, di ba?
Yes.
Sabi niya, ito ang marching orders mo, former Senator Honasan. Connect government to other governments, domestic and global. Connect government to business for productivity. Connect government to the citizens and everybody to each other. Connectivity. Do this faster, cheaper, if not free. Those are my marching orders. The technical aspects are procedural. So I put together the best and the brightest legal and technical team. Diba? Sabi ko, if something goes wrong, you point to me. If something goes right, you take the credit. Baka may balak sa inyong may tumakbo. Diba? So we have infrastructure, roads, bridges, but pwedeng itandem kasi ito, Angela, no, sa Diego, sa infrastructure.
That's right.
Ano ang i-connect mo? The farthest, smallest, and poorest. That's the way to develop a country. It's like a railroad, di ba? No railroad in this planet earns by itself. It's the economic activity on both sides of the tracks.
That's right, that's right.
The terminals, yung munisipyo, yung factory, that generates development and the economic activity, especially for a developing country like ours.
I remember, former Senator, yung mga advocacy ninyo kasama po sa mandato nyo before nung nasa government pa kayo, yung mga farm to ang tawag din?
Farm to market.
Farm to
Okay.
market. I remember that. No? Kasi in connection to
Angela,
that. Sige, go ahead po.
Sorry, I keep on.
Apo.
Di ba? What does a farmer in the agricultural sector, agricultural economy pa tayo, buy when he has disposable income? He doesn't buy food, clothing, or he buys a cell phone.
Yes.
Gives him access to market information.
That's right.
He knows what his pakwan or rice or kamote or onions are worth in the market. So automatically eliminated yung middleman na may hawak ng bodega. Second question, is it a supply problem or a distribution problem? Kung supply problem, bakit nabubulok yung palay sa bodega?
Exactly.
It may be both. So it's again, as I explained to you earlier, Diego, no, Angela, it's a baseline data management problem. It cuts across the entire policy and bureaucratic landscape. Last point, alam mo, regulatory capture. Instead of making things faster, di ba, more efficient, we want to make it harder and longer. Why? That's where the corruption is embedded. Hindi ba? Pag manual, di pirma, ibig sabihin. Pero kung isang pindot, digitized na tayo, di mabilis.
Yes.
But are we managing time? Time. We should be faster than COVID and all the other problems.
Well, of course, Senator, for taking this opportunity, is, I think yung isang issue about yung Alice Guo, yung suspended Bamban Mayor. Ang question ko is, how is it, what can we do in terms of law or passing new laws or amending certain laws to prevent na possibly somebody pala, allegedly, who was able to steal somebody else's identity and became a mayor?
Diego, no? Angela, baseline data management. Dapat alam natin through the Bureau of Customs, Bureau of Immigration.
Aren't they interconnected sila? Not yet?
They should be. That is what we tried to do when I was the ICT. Yung interconnection para one database. Diba? Cybersecurity is everybody's concern. No? Alam mo kung sino yung pumapasok, sino yung lumalabas, anong klaseng tao ito? Criminal ba ito? Diba? Negosyante, investor, or citizen, just come, or balikbayan. Diba? It's knowing the facts. Let's not be worried about AI. Diba? Algorithms.
So accept it.
It's a creation of human beings.
Exactly.
And what does AI do for us?
Thinks for us.
Thinks for us. Faster. Diba? Faster.
Pero tayo pa rin gumawa.
Tayo pa rin.
Ba't tayo matatakot? Gumawa tayo ng mas mabilis.
Ang dami natin gustong itanong dito kay Senator.
It's been a while, but
pero wala na tayong oras. Pero yung very short lang po, yung kay Vice President Sara Duterte, yung kanyang pag-resign sa kanyang cabinet, and now announcing that 3 other members of the family will run for the Senate. Your thoughts on that?
How can anybody naman confirm what her reasons were, no? But I am hoping and praying that it has something to do with national interest and public interest. Is her departure from the DepEd and the cabinet going to serve the highest public and national interest? Or do you want to color code it again with some partisan political motive? We have enough of that. You know, I was asking some officials from other countries, how do you view the Philippines? Sabi niya, you know, we and you do not trust each other, but we don't trust you more. Sabi ko, why? Because new president, new mayor, new governor, new medium-term policy. Diba? So yung gustong tumaya sa atin in the long term, nagpipigil. Teka muna, baka yung bagong presidente, iba na naman. Diba?
Yeah, that's
That
right.
causes a lot of political and policy instability. Diba? Every 3 years kasi we have elections.
Yes.
So some degree of continuity will provide an element of predictability para yung investor makapagplano at program naman.
Pero Senator, ito mabilis din ulit, ano? Kasi alam naman po natin yung big role ninyo dun sa bloodless revolution natin sa EDSA, People Power, para po patasikin yung ama po ng ating presidente ngayon.
Hindi patalsikin. Give me a chance to correct.
Yes.
We were going to go to Malacanang to protect the father, the family of the president of now, no? So can you imagine how romantic, how naive we were? You go in, siyempre lalaban, control the situation, protect them from the mob. Kung nauna yung mob, di summary ang trial at execution. Yeah.
So ano pong matasabi nyo dito sa ginagawang administration ng Marcos administration? Is he doing well or not? Yes or no?
History will... What administration naman has been spared from criticism and support? No? But I'll add this to the discussion. No? You know, we Filipinos, we never miss an opportunity to miss an opportunity.
Totoo.
What were the opportunities? Martial law. National discipline. Kaya lang dapat may lifespan yun, di ba? The insurgency. Kaya nagkaroon ng insurgency because of root causes like social injustice, poverty, etc. No? And then the 1986 People Power Revolution. So then after your parents participated in that. After that historic bloodless revolution, we all went home and left governance to the government that came into power. Dapat hindi that was the easy part. The harder part is nation building, ongoing yan. Work in progress.
Wala na po tayong oras, pero ang dami ko pang
Very
gusto.
nice to talk to you again, sir.
Last na. May chismis.
Let's do it again. Maybe over coffee.
May chismis po kasi na baka daw po kakausapin kayo for back channel talk sa West Philippine Sea. Is that true or not? Yes or no?
No, I cannot confirm that. No, nobody has. But I will help. Whether they like it or not. I just don't know how.
All right, thank you so much for your time, former Senator Gringo Honasan. Thank you po.
Okay, tapos na ang countdown, pero ang birthday ni Angela hindi pa. Don't go away!
Bumalik pa tayo. Welcome back. Thank you so much for joining us today.
At nag-overtime ng konti dahil birthday ni Angel. Thank you sa lahat ng mga nagbigay ng cakes.
Oo, we have, of
Benson
course,
family.
Benson family, si Jen Chua ng Love Desserts, Marjorie Tan ng Buddha's Belly, of course, Second Mile Coffee, thank you so much. And of course, our lovely and
Brunch family.
Amazing Brunch
Carlo
family.
and the rest of the team, maraming salamat po.
Thank you. Sa Lunes na kami babati ng iba pang mga gusto magpabati dun sa natin sa Facebook. But thank you so much.
Happy birthday.
Thank you.
And
Jen Chua, thank you.
Dahil dyan, may quote ako para sa iyo. Today is the oldest you have been and the youngest you will ever be. make the most of it. Quote from Nikki Gumbel. Happy birthday ulit. And that wraps up today's episode of Brunch. At dahil birthday mo,
Birthday ko ngayon,
i-close
nilipas
mo.
din to. And
Okay.
that wraps up today's episode of Brunch. Join us again tomorrow. Hindi pala, sa Monday na kasi tomorrow
Special.
ay special po ng One News dito yung debate nila Trump versus Biden. I'm Angela Lagunsad Castro. And
Go!
he is Angelo Castro III. We are One News, all sides, all the time.